Not every scream is heard, is it? Not all bruises even show up. And not every survivor realizes that they have been abused at first. I know it sounds crazy, but it is so true. Because when cruelty comes in whispers instead of shouts, when cruelty hides behind politeness or silence, it's easy to miss if you're right in the middle of it. Then one day you realize the quiet has been killing something inside of you. This is Annie's story, and I'm telling it for her. Annie used to tell herself that she was lucky that her husband didn't yell that often, lucky that he didn't strike her, lucky that for the most part the house was calm, even if that calm felt like she had to walk on broken glass. At first she didn't notice the silence, probably because it started small. Maybe a withheld smile here, a missing good morning there. And when she would reach for his hand, too many times he would pull back and say, "You're just too needy." And then he'd look away. It's a terrible feeling. When she would ask him what's wrong, he would say, "What are you talking about? You're just imagining it." If she cried, he might roll his eyes, sigh, walk away. And the more she tried to fix their relationship, it seemed like the colder he became. But here's what she didn't know, that silence was the abuse. It was punishment disguised as distance. She just didn't know that. It was her husband controlling her without even using words. A weapon so subtle that she would blame herself for her own bleeding. One night, she just couldn't take it anymore. She sat at the kitchen table, her cup of tea sitting in front of her had gone cold, and she got up the courage to ask him, "Why don't you talk to me anymore?" He looked at her for a long moment, and he said, "Because you talk too much." And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. It was certainly the end of her voice in her own home. She didn't realize then that his silence wasn't peace at all. It was power. For every word that he withheld, he was telling her who was in control. For every unanswered question, reminded her that she wasn't even worth a response. And the longer it went on, the more she started to disappear. But I think that's the way it happens. It's a kind of a slow unraveling of your sense of self. There's no shouting, no slamming doors. It's just a steady erosion of a connection between you and your partner. You might try to tell somebody and they say, "Well, he never hit you, right?" As if a fist is the only way to shatter someone. Because silence, I don't know, I think it's worse than a strike. Neglect can be a bruise on a spirit more deeply than any swipe of somebody's hand. It's a kind of abuse that survivors overlook because it doesn't fit the picture that we've been taught to recognize, does it? You start believing that you're the problem, but you're not. You're not the problem. You are the proof. You're the proof that you were capable of feeling, capable of reaching, of loving, and that they just couldn't meet you there. And here's the truth that I want you to know. Silence, it's just another form of domination. It says, I decide when you're visible. It says, your needs don't matter. It says, you'll earn my attention when I say so. And yet, survivors stay, hoping for the day that the quiet ends, not at all realizing the quiet is the message. So, if you've ever been in a relationship where you've begged for a response and just got nothing but a wall, that's not you being dramatic. That's you being human and asking to be seen. This one is for the survivor who mistook indifference for calm. For the person who kept asking, did I do something wrong? For the one who whispered apologies just to end the silence. Remember, you did nothing wrong. You didn't need to apologize for something that wasn't even your fault to begin with. All you were doing was asking for a connection in a place that demanded obedience. There was no love there. It's control. It's the silent abuse that survivors often overlook. It's leaving them doubting their own instincts. But know this, you can trust your discomfort. Trust your loneliness. You can trust that ache for kindness. It's not weakness at all. It's truth trying to speak again. If someone punished your voice, don't let them be the reason that you don't use it again. Please. I'm Keil Hackley, attorney, author of the book Undercurrent, and your host here at the Are You Annie podcast. I believe that Annie's story is all of ours. In different parts and pieces, it is. I hope that by my telling Annie's story, it helps others identify that moment that they realize that being unseen was not their fault. If the time is right for you, please hit the like button, the share button, or comment. That's the most important because it's your comments, it's your stories that make this place what it is. You're making a difference every time you tell your story or part of it because you are having an impact on me, and I believe you're having an impact on others. That's what I see when I'm reading every comment. Please remember that you are stronger than you ever believed. You are a warrior against narcissistic abuse, and you're tenacious, and you're never, ever going to give up on what's important to you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for staying until the end. And until the next episode, just promise me that you'll be good to yourself. Thank you again, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.